Welcome to Football Conspiracies.
I'm Jared Cole.
And I'm Jared Rabinovich.
This week's episode, Mack Hollins and his beliefs.
All right, so I think it's pretty obvious to say that both me and you are very excited for this episode and to share this content with our listeners.
Yes, I mean, he's turned into my favorite player to watch outside of the NFL, and I don't know how long.
Yes,
he's the best.
This is going to be a fun one for sure. And for those who didn't catch this in the intro, today we're going to be getting back to one of our fan favorites, and I think, frankly, one of the host favorites at this point. The series, Players and Their Beliefs. It's always a fun time to do one of these, and today we're focusing on probably our best subject yet, Mack Hollins of the Bills.
Yeah, he's probably the zaniest creature right now in the NFL.
That is the only, zany creature, perfect way to describe it.
I mean,
he'd probably take it as a compliment.
Yeah, oh, for sure he would.
Yeah, this guy is an aberration in all the best ways.
Yes, we love Mack Hollins.
Yeah, so...
I mean, you're a Buffalo Bills guy, too.
I legally have to like him. I think that's how it works. I signed a contract, I believe. I forget. But this guy, even if he was on the Jets, I would still like him. And that's saying a whole lot.
Yeah, that's quite the statement.
And I believe it, because this guy, he's just too much of a gem. So, like we've alluded to, we're going to be talking today about Mack Hollins, the wide receiver, or a wide receiver for the Buffalo Bills. I know this might seem like a little bit of an odd choice for an episode. After all, Mack Hollins is not one of the best known players in the NFL, let alone on the Bills. But as the listeners will discover shortly, he is anything but your typical NFL player.
Yeah, he's definitely making a name for himself, not through his play, but in a good way. Usually off the field stuff, if you're making headlines and people know about you because you're off the field stuff, it's probably not too good, but this guy's the best.
Yeah, this guy's just soaking in the fame that he's been getting recently. He loves it, the fans love him, it's all good stuff. This topic was actually originally brought to my attention by my humble co-host, J. Cole. J. Cole, do you want to quickly enlighten the audience on why you began to take notice of him?
I scrolling through Instagram as I do, and I got a Mack Hollins time hack, and he just gave this random time hack about how to fold a fitted sheet. And so I looked at his profile, and for the entire month of October, he did time hacks. And they were just they all started the exact same way, and they're all amazing.
Yeah.
And then he continued, and now he's doing science experiments, and it's just as good, because it's stuff you can do in your house, but he does one every single day.
Yeah, just his general gimmickiness in these reels is exactly what I think endeared him to us in the first place. He was just such a character, and you know that if you dig a little bit further on a guy who's making this sort of content, you're going to find some juicy stuff.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
And let me tell you, he did not disappoint. We will get a little bit further into his eccentric Instagram posts in a little bit, but I first want to do a quick rundown on who the guy is, and aside from, his notable quirks, and what his teammates have to say about him. Back in 2017, Mack Hollins got drafted and was picked 118th overall by the Philadelphia Eagles. Most of Hollins' time on the Eagles was spent on the special teams, but that doesn't mean that in 2018 he didn't win a ring with the Eagles, so he is a decorated player.
Okay, so...
It's pretty cool.
He's got a ring.
Yeah, definitely, and you know what? If I see a ring on anyone's finger, I'm glad it's him.
Yeah.
He missed the following season due to a groin injury. This will come up again later. And in 2019, the Eagles waived Hollins. Just one day later, Hollins was picked up by the Dolphins. His time on the Dolphins was nothing too notable, except for the fact that in a 2020 game against the Bengals, Hollins got ejected for a fight. And let me tell you, he got a couple good haymakers in before getting ejected from the field. This was a big fight, and there was some friendly fire between some of these Dolphins teammates here. It was a pretty crazy video. I recommend some people looking up if you're interested, this Dolphins-Bengals fight back in 2020, because they went at it. In 2022, Hollins then signed with the Raiders. In 2023, he signed a one-year contract with the Falcons. And finally, in March of this year, Hollins signed another one-year contract with the Bills. And boy, am I glad we picked this guy up.
I mean, he's been pretty serviceable in a wide receiver core that's, like, led by Khalil Shakir. So, I mean...
Yeah, I guess you're right. Like, it's a good way to put that. That being said, I've been enjoying him. This entire season, I think he's been a pretty good player. I'm seeing him on field making good plays, making good decisions. And one thing that you can't say about him is that he won't stand up for his boys. Like, if there is a scuffle out there, he is the first man in the opponent's face.
Yeah, apparently so.
Which, I mean, makes sense considering that whole fight that went down.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm going to go further than just saying I enjoy this guy being a Bill. I'm going to state right now that regardless of his performance during the remainder of this season, I sure as shit hope that Hollins is still suiting up as a Bill next year. That's how amazing this guy's quirks are. Like, if
he's a personality hire for all personality hires, but he also turns out to have a little bit of the skill required.
100%. Like, this guy is supremely entertaining and can only be described as what I would call the opposite of a locker room cancer. Like, this guy's locker room chemo. On that note, although I already gave it away a little, what do Mack's teammates think of him? The short answer is that they absolutely love this guy.
Yeah, it's not a shocker.
Yeah, pretty much every person asked about their thoughts on Hollins begins with their love of him before, quickly moving on to a section about how weird this dude is. Like, they can't resist.
Yeah.
Because, while he is lovable, his main character trait is definitely that he is just a certified weirdo. So quickly, I'm going to show you a short clip of an ABC News report where the reporter is asking Bills players and coaches their thoughts on Mack Hollins.
When I asked Bills players about Mack Hollins, they all said the same thing.
I love Mack. Mack's awesome.
One of my favorite players. Honestly, probably one of my favorite people I've ever met.
Golly.
Yeah, so I think it seems pretty clear that this guy is just a lovable dude.
Yeah, so turns out it wasn't a hot take to say he's my favorite guy because he's also Josh Allen's.
Yeah, you called this way before the media did. Like, you were on this Mack Hollins train way before the popularity got there. Good for you for not being a bandwagon. Now that I've teased you enough about the oddities of this man, let's actually get into it. And for those that are worried that I may have been exaggerating the extent of his eccentricities, let me just put it this way. If you thought Jim Harbaugh was a weird dude based on the episode about him, an assessment that I certainly agree with, then you are going to be absolutely flabbergasted by some of the quirks of Mack Hollins. The first thing we are going to discuss, and this is solely because this is what endeared him to J. Cole in the first place, and obviously we mentioned already, are his Instagram Reels. These Reels are likely one of the least weird things about the guy, and trust me, that is saying something. Like J. Cole mentioned, the past couple months, me and him have been entertained by these daily videos being released by Mack Hollins, where he is generally teaching something new every day. We're going to go back to September, the month before we actually discovered his account to begin with, when he was teaching his September challenge being dance moves. The one we are going to play is Mack Hollins teaching his followers how to floss. The reason I choose this one is because I assume most of the people who are listening to this know what the visual of this is going to look like. You know what a floss looks like. So, without further ado, let's look at this video.
Welcome back to Mack's Moves Challenge. Today, we're going to be hitting that floss. So, to start, lower body. Easy. Hips just back and forth. Hips back and forth. Now, let's go to the arms. This is a little more challenging. Arms are going to go back and forth across, but then when you get to the side, split them, go behind. Back across, split them, go behind. Learn how to do that a little bit quicker. And now, let's put it all together. So when the hips go left, arms go right. When hips go right, arms go left. So hips and arms are always opposite. So to begin, if we go left with the arms, right with the hips, let's split them, bring the hips back. Split them, bring the hips back. And if you want to add that Mack flavor, you just gotta go super speed. And now you know how to floss. Catch you tomorrow.
So I think that video is magical for a couple reasons. One being, he's actually like a really good teacher, I would say. I think that's a pretty high quality flossing tutorial if anyone needs one.
In all of his videos, he's just as good as describing what he's doing, which good trait to have.
No, I agree. Like, I think it's pretty impressive. Not something that I necessarily would attribute to him knowing everything else I know about him.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that, like, even from that video, you can tell this guy is fucking nuts. Like, that end of the video where he's, like, speeding up, if you want to do it Mac style, you know? Like,
yeah.
This starts as kids' content and quickly just divulges into, like, his own content. Like, just what he wants to make.
Yeah, no, and, like, the visuals, they add a lot. If you can, go watch Mack Hollins on Instagram and just watch all of them. Because every single video is just as worthy of a watch.
Yeah, like, I highly recommend a binge watch of Mack Hollins reels. So this is obviously some pretty odd activity for an NFL player, but this is only exacerbated by the fact that this is simply one of the videos, like we mentioned, that he posted each and every day through the month of September in what he deemed his September challenge, where he successfully endeavored to teach his followers a different dance move each day of the month. Like we mentioned, this is not a one-time oddity, and to our delight, Mack Hollins did not stop in September. The next month, as J. Cole so dutifully discovered, Hollins began his October challenge, where every day through the month of October, he posted a new time management tip.
Do you know what he called it?
What did he? I don't call.
Max Time Hacks.
That's good. Come on, that's pretty solid.
I mean, it's right there.
And he doesn't seem like the guy who has a social media manager. Like, I feel like that was right off the dome.
No, this is him doing it.
Yes, amazing stuff. So this October time management, Max Time Hacks.
Max Time Hacks.
So these tips ranged from, you know, how to fold a fitted sheet, like J. Cole mentioned, to how to open a jar. Like, these were seemingly useless stuff.
Well, I actually will say that I was cutting a pepper the other day, and I was like, oh, Mack Hollins said to do it this way, so I did it the way Mack Hollins said, and it worked out exactly how I needed to. So I will say that Mack Hollins taught me how to cut a pepper better.
Did he save you time?
Yes.
Wow.
Because I didn't have to do any of, like, the seed stuff. Like, they all just came out instantly.
Your time was hacked. Thank you, Mac.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, and what I was thinking when I was going through these is I have no idea why he considers so many of these time management tips. Like, that will forever be a mystery to me. But I will not let that mystery get in the way of me enjoying some incredible content.
Yeah, it's like, here's a time hack on how to clean your pillows and comforter. Leave it in the bathtub with soap and water for 4 hours. And it's like, bro, time hack.
Yeah,
Come
exactly.
on.
Like I appreciate the tip.
Now I know how to clean them.
Exactly.
Like,
wonderful tip, and they work. But that's not saving me any time, especially compared to, like, you know, the 1 hour laundry cycle. Yeah, it's crazy. This month, Mack Hollins is putting out perhaps my favorite challenge series of them all, Science Experiments.
Oh,
like, we've mentioned this, it's beautiful.
And it's also so good because he explains it.
Oh, yeah, like, the science is explained.
Actually explains the science behind
entertaining.
the experiment. And you can do everything at home, too. It's, like, super easy, simple stuff.
Yeah, and, like, these are incredibly wholesome. Like, he does these science experiments that clearly seem aimed at children.
I was going to say, these are like the science experiments parents had their kids doing during COVID to keep them distracted.
Absolutely. But it's kind of like he's making himself into, like, a bit of a modern Bill Nye. Like, it's pretty great. Like, this is like, we turned on Bill Nye when we were kids. These kids are turning on Mack Hollins. And if that's not Gen Alpha for you, I don't know what is. It also seems necessary to mention that during all of these reels, he is donning a large, poofy gray wig, likely bought at Spirit Halloween with some sort of title, like Mad Scientist wig. Like, he looks crazy in these science videos.
Yeah.
Like
True.
a mad scientist,
yeah,
you know?
Exactly.
True to form.
Yes, very much so.
And it turns...
Wait 1 sec. A Mac scientist? Sorry, I had to.
Oh my god. I can't believe you DM him. He'll start it. He'll pick that up in a second. You know he'll love it. So these challenges actually go back quite a bit further than when J. Cole discovered them in October. Like we mentioned, the September dancing one already. But in August, he actually he posted home maintenance challenges. You know, these examples of this are insurance prep and how to change your HVAC filter.
Both very important things that an NFL player should not be teaching me.
Exactly how I feel. Like, I really feel like this is the first month that he posted the challenges daily. Before that, they were more sporadic. And I think he was still really, refining the art of his monthly challenges at this point. Because,
he has perfected it now. But
Yes.
back then, that's rough.
I agree. But the quality between August and now, huge improvements. The maintenance challenges, I'm not going to lie, duds. Duds, Mac. You did your best. I appreciate you. But dancing was so much better. And now that we're on to Mac Scientist's experiments,
Yeah.
it's beautiful stuff. It's beautiful stuff, truly. And I can't wait to see what December has for us.
Yeah, I have high expectations.
Me too. I bet it's going to be Christmas themed.
Yeah, definitely.
You know he's going to be dressed like Santa or an elf. It's going to be great.
Oh, yeah, okay, the costume.
Exactly. The costume is going to be top quality. I'm very excited for December. In July, he posted donations. Very weird. There was only 1 or 2 of them. Not quite a challenge, but a series nonetheless. In June, he posted affirmations, and so on, he had, a few videos a month up until, his home maintenance challenges in August, but I just thought it would be nice to lay out a true history of Mac's Instagram reel activity.
The only place on the internet you will find Mack Hollins' Instagram reel history breakdown.
Exactly. Hey, you know what? That's the original content people come here for. I also want to mention, before we move on from this, the comment sections of these reels are overwhelmingly positive. People seem to love what Mac is putting out there.
Yeah, usually Instagram reel comment sections can get a little dicey.
Toxic.
Very, very toxic. But, everyone just loves Mack Hollins. You can't not.
I feel like, it's crazy, because Mack Hollins is the great unifier, because I'll find, a fucking Coco Melon reel and go under it, and, half the comments are Trump 2024. It's what happened here? I don't understand who you guys are trying to pill right now. The 2-year-olds who are watching Coco Melon? I also wanted to see just how positive the reactions were to these posts, because based on the comments, they were overwhelmingly positive. So I hopped onto Social Blade to see how many followers he has gained since starting his daily reels in August. In the month of August alone, Hollins gained over 45,000 followers, and this was with his shitty home maintenance tips. In September, more than 28,000. In October, more than 15,000. He has a total of 210,000 followers as of the writing of this episode. So these are some pretty substantial increases in the past few months.
Yeah, honestly, that's that's influencer level stuff.
He's doubled his follower count just based on these videos.
Yeah. Who knows? There you go. Post a video daily and you'll blow up on Instagram.
Exactly. And part of that popularity, I must say, might be partly because he moved teams. Bills fans are following him. But this guy's been on 5 different teams, and this month alone...
I will say, if some random person was popping up on my feed, I probably wouldn't give them a follow, and I'd just, wait until they popped up again. But, because he's a football player and he's doing this, it's
Exactly. There's definitely some
him
added cachet. But for reference, I just want to mention this. In July, the month before he started his daily challenges, Hollins only gained about 3,000 followers. So 3,000 of 45,000 gains in 1 month is crazy. And in June, he actually lost about 700 followers. So this is a crazy turnaround for his social media success.
He lost all the followers when he was released from his contract, and then he gained all those followers when he signed a new one.
Exactly. The 700 were Falcons fans. The 3,000 were Bills fans.
Sounds about right.
Exactly. And then the 45,000 are real ones that want his time management tips.
Yeah.
Now we're going to move on to some of the more popular stuff people have been speaking about Mack Hollins in the past little bit, because he has garnered a lot of attention in the media over this past season. I'm not sure why it's taken so long for these eccentricities to get the attention they deserve, but it seems like this year is the year of Mack Hollins, so we got a whole lot more information on the dude now.
Yeah. Well, this is the first year he's actually been decent. He has an MVP quarterback throwing to him,
Yeah, it definitely makes a pretty big difference, but he's had some decent seasons before this.
Yeah.
So this is not the first time that he's been a serviceable player. I think he's been a serviceable player his entire career.
He's a Super Bowl champion.
He is a Super Bowl champion. I don't think much because of his own doing.
Well, it doesn't matter.
Certainly not his best showing of any season. That being said, I just think it's kind of crazy that he had 5 teams worth of people to talk to about this stuff, and he is not shy about it. But it took until the Bills for this really to blow up. I thought this would be like some immediate stuff that the media would catch on to, but I'm glad they found it eventually.
Yeah, I mean, that's the age of social media. It takes a while. It'll happen.
Yeah, I guess so.
Everything will come to light. Just give it a sec.
So one of the first things you will learn about Mack Hollins when you begin looking into him is his teammates' constant comparisons between him and Tarzan. The reason for this may be obvious to anyone who knows what he looks like. For anyone who doesn't, I recommend looking up a photo of him right now because he truly does look like if Tarzan played in the NFL. But the rationale for this nickname does not end at the appearance. As a matter of fact, it's barely the start. The first and most noticeable reason people will point out is the fact that Mack Hollins, with the exception of when he's on the field, does not wear shoes. I know you know this, J. Cole, but that's some crazy shit.
Yeah, I saw somewhere about when he chooses to and not to wear shoes.
The only thing I have about that is that he said the only reason he wears cleats during NFL games is because it is required by the league. But if it were up to him, he would be barefooted during his games.
Yeah.
Unhinged.
No, yeah, he recently did a Q&A. Someone asked him, how do you look out for sharp objects on the ground when walking barefoot? And he says, my eyes are constantly scanning, can never be too careful.
Yep, that sounds exactly like him.
Though he was also asked, at what temperature do shoes come on? Word on the street is, it snows up there.
That's a good point. He was in Atlanta before. Like, Atlanta to Buffalo is pretty significant weather change.
He goes based off of the feels like in the weather. So it doesn't matter what temperature it actually is, as long as it feels like 36 or higher, he will not wear shoes. But it could be 36 degrees, but feel like 34, he won't wear shoes. It'll be 34 and feel like 36, he won't wear shoes.
To be honest, I have no idea what 36 means. My Canadian brain is melting right now.
32 is 0.
0 to freezing.
32 is 0.
Oh my god. So this guy's like wearing shoes with snow on the ground. I'm sorry, wearing no shoes with snow on the ground.
No.
Pretty much.
No, the snow would melt, but yeah, come on,
That's insane. No, it's insane.
Yeah, no, there you go. I knew that was going to come up. So.
How he doesn't have frostbite is shocking to me, but good for him. He is clearly built different.
Yeah.
As J. Cole has pointed out, this means that to practices, to the grocery store, throughout his entire daily life, he is usually shoeless. This is a quick quote from him I found when he was asked about this topic. I thought this was a little entertaining.
When I'm back in Florida, I'll get kicked out of grocery stores. Lots of Instacart.
That's so good. Oh man, gotta love him for it. He's so committed to the shoeless life that
He'll Instacart.
He'll Instacart. Big endorsement of the brand. For all those shoeless folk out there, you now have a solution to your grocery store woes. Here's a clip from that same ABC News report of Hollins giving his explanation for being anti-shoe.
And that's because, well, Mack's a little different.
Like every team I've been on, they're gonna be like, who's the weirdest guy? They're gonna say Mack.
I say interesting.
Yeah, it's not like a bad weird.
Yeah, he's crazy. He's Tarzan.
Yeah, and just like Tarzan, Mack doesn't wear shoes.
I think shoes are a tool.
Okay.
And people have made them a part of their body. Like, I wouldn't walk around with a hammer just because I might need a hammer sometimes.
Now, he does wear cleats because he has to, but he calls them foot prisons.
Like, look at that little tiny toe box. How you gonna fit your toes in there?
I mean, how are you going to say, how do your toes even fit in there, and then put on a shoe every Sunday where clearly your toes fit in there?
I think we all know what he means. We definitely don't want to take a guy like Mack Hollins too literally. So, obviously he gave us his reasoning for why he doesn't wear shoes, but I think there's a much deeper question here as to, what got him started on this trend. So I did my best to track this down. This article by Mansi Rajput, published by Essentially Sports, tries to explain the answer. Here is a direct quote from the article.
Hollins' decision to say no to shoes stems from a groin injury. The player injured his inner thigh in 2017 during his rookie season with the Philadelphia Eagles. During his rehabilitation, the player met a group of trainers of Melbourne Muscular Therapy. The group was shoeless too, and emphasized the benefits of barefoot training and grounding. And that's how Mack Hollins' no shoe, no pain story started. The wide receiver got inspired by their approach and soon began to go shoeless. This not only helped him recover faster, but also enhanced his flexibility and agility on the field. He has been doing barefoot training for over 5 to 6 years now.
So that explains the origins of this, obviously, but it's pretty crazy.
I mean, if you were to do the exact same training, like exactly what you did barefoot, but like with shoes on, would you still improve your flexibility and agility and all that stuff? Like, is it like just like working out barefoot sort of vibes, or is it like working out your feet?
I will play the devil's advocate here for a moment.
Like, I don't know.
I actually have worked with a trainer who highly advocates working out with shoes off. Not at all times. He's definitely not telling you to like go barefoot to the grocery store, but he says that doing certain exercises while barefoot actually does increase a lot of, very good things. It increases foot flexibility, toe flexibility, which may seem unimportant, but they're actually like really, really good indicators of later life well-being. And not only that sort of stuff is super important for a wide receiver in the NFL.
Yeah. Well, I mean...
Yeah, like getting 1% better, big difference in that level. That being said, I think this article has like such a fantastic sentence to begin it. Are you kidding me? The quote, Hollins' decision to say no to shoes stems from a groin injury. That's perfect. That's so fucking funny.
Yeah, that's honestly crazy.
Like, yeah, exactly. Like, how one connects to the other obviously is explained, but when I first read that sentence, I was like, damn, this is gonna be a wild ride.
Yeah, and it was.
This practice of wearing no shoes has actually seemed to spread throughout the Bills organization throughout this season, with a handful of players opting to practice barefoot after being inspired by Hollins. Joe Brady, the Bills' offensive coordinator, has even taken to the practice, which is crazy. He's not playing the game.
No.
I also cannot resist pointing out that this does make him Shoeless Joe.
Okay.
Yeah, I know, it's hacky, but I had to say it. To further add to his persona as the modern-day Tarzan, Mack Hollins also does not cut his hair. In addition to this, he also does not eat with utensils, preferring to eat using his hands. It seems the reason for all of these quirks, these I've just mentioned, fall under the same umbrella explanation. While I'm not sure this is exactly his view, this is the best way I've found to explain it. Mack Hollins believes that we were born the way we are for a reason, and it is against our human nature to use external aids. Like, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense, yeah.
Exactly. I think this makes sense because it relates back to his explanation of shoes as tools. They are external aids humans use to make themselves better in certain situations, but they are not something we should come to rely on, in Mack Hollins' views. Our bodies already have the ability to function well without external aids, and we should do our best to avoid using them. Do you understand that logical train of his?
Yeah, like, why use your forks when the hands do the job? Why wear shoes when they're feet prisons?
Exactly. And I do have a bit of a further theory as to why this barefoot practice has become so popular with him and among, the other Bills players. But I truly cannot explain the not cutting the hair and the not eating with utensils. Not cutting the hair is sometimes a religious practice for people. I mean, not for him.
Took away all of Samson's strength.
I cannot believe you just fucking said that.
Is that not how it goes?
No, it's how it goes. It's how it goes.
That's like the most general layman's version of it, I'm sure. But
so
that's all I know.
You think that's what Hollins is worried about?
No, but I'm saying the similarities should be talked about.
All right, so we've gone to the end of our similarities, our biblical similarities,
and they were talked about.
But for real, like, I actually have no idea why this is a practice of his, and this bothers me way less than the refusal to use utensils. Like, I understand how I think our culture has overused utensils to some extent. And I think there's maybe some foods. I know this might be a controversial opinion. J. Cole's shaking his head at me.
My coworkers, like, at lunch, like, they don't use forks. Like, they'll just, like, go straight in with their hands, like
I'm so
curry,
for that.
like curry on rice sort of vibe. Just, like, scooping with their hands, you know?
Bro, you're a welder. That's disgusting.
Yeah, I know, but, I mean, that's what they do.
Okay, you know what? Yeah.
I use a fork. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I eat with my hands.
All right. Honestly,
but
like
they do, I will say that like it is done in some cultures as just like a normal thing.
No,
That's
I
just
agree.
like a normal
I have
thing.
no issue with it, like culturally, nothing like that. And like I was saying, like I think there's some things in Canadian American society that should be eaten with our hands that aren't, and I take issue with that.
Then like what?
Like certain. Like, have you ever been to, like, fancy restaurants where they give, like, a fork and a knife with, like, your pizza or your burger or sandwich or something? Like, nah, get that shit out of here. Come on. I don't care how fancy this is.
As a typical lower classman would say.
Oh, my God. Don't come at me like that. So, when asked about all of these practices, Hollins responded in this way. J. Cole, would you like to read the quote?
Not really, but I'll do it anyways.
How generous of you.
Going with no shoes, having wild hair, eating with hands instead of utensils, that type of stuff, that's not bothering anybody. That's who I am. That's what makes me happy. Do the things that make you happy in life. Like I said, life's too short to be worried about what other people think. Wow, great quote by Mack Hollins.
Yeah, I agree. I completely love the sentiment, and you're right, Mac. I'm not going to give you shit for all these practices.
You
it's
just
not
did.
No. I am critically analyzing it. I'm not giving him shit. I want to make that clear. If it makes him happy and it doesn't affect anyone else, I wholeheartedly believe that he should carry on with these practices. That being said, he didn't answer this fucking question. He was asked, why does he do this? And he answered, these things don't hurt anyone. They make me happy. I appreciate that.
That's why he does it. He does it because it makes him happy.
No, let me make this clear. I appreciate that's the result of the actions.
No,
the result is they make him happy. But the reason he does it isn't because it makes him happy. He clearly has a deeper reasoning for this.
Why? Maybe the reasoning is the result.
He wasn't doing it his entire life. It's not like he ate one meal. Maybe it is. But I doubt that he ate like one meal with his hands and he's like, wow, that made me just so happy. This is my life practices now.
That's the same thing with the no shoes. He went and worked out once with no shoes and then he stopped wearing shoes.
It wasn't once with no shoes. He consistently went back to practitioners, doctors who told him that this was a good practice. There was something in his life that fundamentally changed which got him to stop wearing shoes. I have no idea if or what those inspiring events were for not cutting his hair and not eating with utensils. Like I said, I completely agree with his sentiment from that quote. Not hurting anyone, makes him happy. You do you, Mac. But I would love to know why he does it. I truly would. Another anecdote on this topic is a reporter once asked him what his stance on eating soup is. A pretty logical question, considering soup is a pretty tough thing to eat without utensils.
Yeah.
He responded by saying that eating soup makes you soft. He continued with this quote.
Shouldn't be eating soup. You've never seen a lion eat soup. You've never seen a gorilla. You've never seen anything savage eat soup.
What do you think?
I've never seen a lion cook a steak, but
Yeah, good point.
I've never seen...
And you know what else? I've never seen something soft eating soup. Like what? Like a bunny rabbit?
Yeah,
never seen
never seen a bunny rabbit eating soup. I've never seen a squirrel eating soup.
Not once?
No, soup's for tough guys.
That's what I'm saying. What I thought when I first read this quote is this is actually wildly similar logic to Jim Harbaugh and what he used about why you shouldn't eat chickens before his about face on the animal. You remember he was like,
yeah,
you shouldn't eat chickens because they're a weak, nervous bird. Therefore, like I just think the soup answer is so similar. You shouldn't eat soup because only soft things eat soup. Love it.
No, because nothing hard eats soup.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Nothing savage. Exactly. Never seen anything savage eat soup. Which, you know what? I'll give him. I haven't.
You're right. I mean, can you classify humans as savage?
I think that's problematic, so we won't.
Okay.
My history degree is telling me that was wrong, but Well, on the topic of Hollins' eating practices, it must be mentioned that it is reported that Mack Hollins has not eaten vegetables for over 3 years.
I mean, how does he get his vitamins? Probably just takes vitamins.
There's also supplements. There's tons of ways. There's a lot of people who I'm sure don't eat vegetables. Like, there's, 6-year-olds who don't eat vegetables, and they grow up into fully functioning adults, you know?
Yeah, but I mean, a 6-year-old not eating their broccoli is one thing, but, a grown-ass man not eating
An
their
NFL
broccoli
player
is
not eating his broccoli.
Is another thing.
Exactly. I actually, I did some digging on this, and I hate to break the notion that this is true, but I found these claims are not entirely accurate. But I understand why the mistake was made. Hollins does not regularly eat vegetables, as he does not believe they have the substance to sustain him. That is the direct reasoning for it. But contrary to reporting, he has eaten vegetables in the past 3 years. As a matter of fact, he eats veggies once a week, on Sundays, or whatever his game day is on that particular week. He does this because he needs sustenance on game days, but he wants to feel hungry and ravenous, as he believes that will make him perform better.
It's surprising if you just eat vegetables, you don't get full. But if you eat something with the vegetables, then you do.
And all the health benefits of the vegetables.
And you get all the health benefits of the vegetables. But you need what is it, the 16 amino acids that you can't. No one vegetable has them all, but most proteins do.
Yes, exactly.
And so I get what he's saying. You can't survive solely, you'd have to have quite a bit of a bunch of different stuff.
Yeah,
but it's technically possible.
It's technically possible,
but it's not easy.
Yeah, exactly. I understand this logic. I just, considering how much of a wellness kook he seems to be, I'm surprised that he hasn't gotten on to the maybe a balanced meal is healthy sort of vibe, because the only people who I can think of are, promoting this full meat diet are, I don't know if you remember when Jordan Peterson was eating that full red meat diet.
Yeah.
And then he went into a coma and had to be, and then he got super sick and had to be brought to Russia for an induced coma. Wild story. Wild guy, obviously.
Yeah, well, yeah, but yes, I do remember that.
Yes. So from what I've heard, it's pretty clear to me that, a full meat diet isn't particularly healthy. That being said, he mixes in those vegetables once a week, so he gets it.
I'm sure he's also not just eating red meat. I'm sure variety and carbs.
I think you're right. I don't think it's he only eats meat. He never said that.
No,
it's just,
he just doesn't eat vegetables except on game day.
Exactly. It has been reported in a lot of places that he doesn't eat vegetables. I saw this over and over and over again, and it was so easy to debunk. So, news sources do better. Come on.
So he will eat vegetables 17 to 20 times in a single year out of 365 days.
I think that's what he's implying. It might not be totally accurate, but that's absolutely what he's saying.
I mean, based on those percentages, that's basically no vegetables.
All right, now that we've gone through this, barrage of kind of holistic practices of Mack Hollins, I want to do my best to quickly...
One sec. Before we go on to the next part, I gotta mention one more food thing that Mack Hollins does. I don't know why, but after the Bills beat the Chiefs last week, Mack Hollins posted this video on his story. For some reason, he's just pouring a package of peanut M&Ms into a water bottle.
I'll catch y'all in a few weeks.
I don't know why. It's so funny. He just does it.
Yeah, that's super fucking weird.
But he doesn't post anything else with it, not him drinking the water or eating any of the M&Ms afterwards. He gets the dub, so he puts peanut M&Ms in a bottle of water. That's his food.
There must be some reference that we're missing on. I doubt he did this completely out of... Well, I mean, I wouldn't put it past him, but...
He tagged M&Ms in it too, so...
I feel like there must be some reference we're missing here.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Feel free to reach out to us, tweet at us, reach out by email, fbconspiracies@gmail.com if you have further context on this, because, this one confuses me.
I don't think there is further context. I just think Mack Hollins decided that because they beat the Chiefs, he should pour M&Ms into a water bottle. And that's just as simple as that.
I wish I could agree with you. I don't think it's as simple as that. I think there's something underlying here that we're not getting.
As a conspiracy theorist, I believe that there's nothing going on here and that it's just a weird day.
Yeah, I sounding like a conspiracy theorist now. Like, damn. Yeah, if I'm pilled on anything, it's Mack Hollins pouring the M&Ms into the water. Weird shit.
Yeah, wild stuff.
All right, thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Yeah, it's food in Mack Hollins. Can't let it go wasted.
Yeah, I know this is definitely Mack Hollins and his beliefs and not Mack Hollins and his practices, but I think that was fitting nonetheless.
Yeah, no, yeah, I don't know.
And if that's like a winning tradition for him, he's drinking a lot of peanut M&M water this year. All right, so before we move on to the next part about his quirks, I want to do my best to explain the conspiracy angle behind these practices of his. Well, I'm far from certain that this is the root of the reason for Hollins' odd lifestyle choices. This is my best guess. So once again, this is a football conspiracies theory. Over the past few years, there has been a substantial rise in the amount of holistic lifestyle coaches that are pushing alternative lifestyles. While I'm not sure how this exactly relates to the practice of not cutting his hair and choosing to forego utensils, I think it may help to explain the barefoot thing. One practice that is often touted by these influencers is the idea of grounding. That is, making sure you go around barefoot outdoor so your body is connecting directly with the earth. Have you heard of this at all?
Yes, I have. And how shoes block it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think this is a pretty popular thing that a lot of people of our generation have come across by lifestyle influencers. I would like to mention that this is touted by a lot of the same people who say that you should sun your balls, so keep that in mind. I also don't know...
It's called tanning your perineum.
Okay, getting all technical on me.
Yeah, I will.
When I heard
when I do it, that's what I call it.
Well, when I heard it from the best source of all time, the Liver King, he called it sunning your balls. So I'm going to take it from him.
It's from a Chad and JT Go Deep.
Oh,
They go over to it's some famous celebrity. They go over to his house. And they're just, like, talking with him. And they're like, do you mind if we go sun our perineums outside? And he's like, yeah, sure, go for it. And they just both pull up. And they're doing this in this famous guy's backyard.
Good for him.
It's so funny.
I will also say that my mother has some people that she knows out in California that have some pretty wild beliefs. And one of them, last time she was speaking with them, told her that they thought it was good practice to moon your ass. So apparently she'd like go out in the middle of the night and stick her ass up at the moon.
Well, maybe that's why they call it mooning.
Yeah, fine. Yeah, I can't believe I didn't put that one together. I'll give you that.
God.
You gotta moon your moon.
I never, put together why they called it that.
I don't think they call it that. I think this is some crazy wacko shit that she came up with. I don't think this is being touted for a very long time or by anyone with any sort of legitimacy. Either way, I thought it was a necessary thing to bring up in this situation.
Yeah. Does he tan his perineum?
He does not. I just think, I just brought it up in relation to grounding.
Well, it's a great thing we went on this tangent then.
Yes, you're right. Very useful to the listeners, and they're learning a Mack Hollins. But back to this practice of grounding. This is meant to have a plethora of health benefits, all of which are completely unproven. That being said, it is a harmless way to get a feeling of reconnecting with nature, so I don't have much of a problem with this. But it is certainly part of a conspiracy-laden brand of thinking. This theory of mine is corroborated by the fact that the doctors who treated him for his groin injury... This theory of mine is corroborated by the fact that the doctors who treated Mack Hollins for his groin injury refer to themselves as something along the lines of quote-unquote holistic grounding practitioners. So this is clearly where it came from. The practice from the doctors who taught him that being barefoot was a good thing.
Yeah.
They obviously come at it from a more scientific perspective, which is like, yes, it's definitely a good thing, and there are health benefits to working out without shoes on, doing certain activities without shoes on. But I do think that a large part of the reason he fell into this is because of the practitioners he was getting treated by are fans of grounding. Which, like I said, is totally harmless, just not proven to be useful.
Yeah, no.
And while we're here, I just want to give a fun fact. I actually know someone tangentially who is one of these influencers, like one of these weird lifestyle influencers. Every once in a while, I'll open up my Instagram to see him touting the health benefits of grounding or imploring people to cut all the blue light out of their lives and consume more omega-3s. Like, totally harmless stuff, but I just thought I had to mention that I absolutely know one of these grounding influencers.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, last time I saw him, his phone screen, he had a blue light screen over it, like a blue light prevention screen over it that was so strong. He literally had to hold his phone like 2 inches from his face to see it. It was like the strongest privacy screen of all time. Like literally privacy to yourself.
Yeah.
Now let's move on to some of Mack's other quirks. One that I constantly see reported, and for good reason, because it is absolutely redonkulous, is that he believes you should not surround yourself with small cats. Why is this? It's because, according to Hollins, small cats steal souls. J. Cole is actually the one who brought this to me as well. What were your thoughts when you first came across this?
I was like, well, they don't, but it's kind of crazy that he thinks it.
Yeah, I would say that pretty much summarizes my thoughts about it too. On this topic, Hollins is quoted as saying,
I hate cats. Cats will steal your soul. Never trust a cat. The small ones? No. Never look them in the eye.
Why does Hollins believe this? I literally have no idea. Like, could not find a related lifestyle coach who said something like this. Could not find a related conspiracy that says that cats are evil or steal souls in any way. This is just Mack's. This is off the dome for him. This is his personal beliefs.
Mack being Mack.
Yes, truly. For most of the weird quirks we discussed during our Players and Their Beliefs episodes, like I said, I can find some sort of conspiracy connection. Like, the further I dig, I usually find something. In this case, I'm just downright confused, and no article on the subject has done anything to soothe my confusion. The best explanation I can find is the fact that Hollins is a big cat guy, rather than a small cat person, is what I mean. Not like a big cat guy, like big cat guy. The reason for this, when he was growing up, his dad owned a lion.
Whoa.
Yeah, isn't that insane?
That's crazy.
Yeah. And here's a quote about that lion directly from Mack himself.
It wasn't one of those TLC hang in the house lions. It was in a big cage, killed a deer and ate it.
So
insane.
Yeah, that's insane. Like, firstly, it's insane that he had a fucking lion in his house. Second of all, I'm just so confused by something in this quote. What the hell is a TLC hang in the house lion? Never seen one of those myself.
No, but like Tiger King.
Yeah.
You remember how they had like their like tigers that they would just like chill with like in their house and stuff?
Yeah, but clearly that didn't work out very well. Did you watch the whole show?
It didn't work out well for some of them.
Yeah, okay, fine. It just, to me, it feels like no lions are TLC hang in the house lions. But you know what? Maybe I should take this from Mack, who apparently lived with one for a while.
Yeah, I think he would know.
Well, this is the extent of what I could find on his apprehension towards small cats. This is not the end of his pet oddities. Today, Mack owns 3 snakes. And these aren't like some bullshit run-of-the-mill garden snakes. According to The Athletic, he has, quote, 2 ball pythons that are between 4 and 6 feet long, and a Colombian boa that is 11 feet long.
Damn.
That's crazy.
Those are some 3 long snakes.
I know a lot of personal anecdotes in today's episode, but I just also need to mention that back when I was in first year university, in one of my friend's residences, it was someone was kicked out of their room because it was discovered that he was holding 2 boa constrictors in the closet of his university dorm room. Not in a cage, in the closet, just hanging out there, tangled up together.
That's amazing.
His roommates had no idea.
Amazing.
How he was discovered, not sure. Maybe like a mouse got away or something, but just thought that was worth mentioning. Here's a quick quote from Mack about his love of his snakes.
I love animals, and they are way easier to take care of than dogs.
Yep, short, simple, easy. I get it, Mack.
Yeah.
I sympathize with that. And certainly easier to take care of than a lion.
Yeah.
In addition to this, Hollins also has an antipathy for small dogs as well, considering them to be, quote, soft, seemingly one of Hollins' favorite words. Like, the amount of things I heard him refer to as soft throughout this, crazy. Here is a quote from Hollins directly about his antipathy towards small dogs.
Not the little rat dogs. Those aren't dogs. I don't know what those are. Rabbits. Big rabbits. Yeah, I don't think it's a dog if I've taken a shit bigger than it.
I respect that. You know what? I'll give you that. That was, by the way, that was J. Cole, that last part, not Mack Hollins. Yeah, no, I respect that. Like, I'm definitely, like, a big dog guy. You know, big dog, not big dog guy myself. Yeah, so I'm not gonna, like, you know, come after him for this view. At least he doesn't think that the small dogs take your souls.
Yes, that is true.
Do you want to know another thing that Hollins believes makes you soft? Watching too much TV. Not crazy, right?
No.
Yeah,
That's a very...
normal opinion.
Yeah.
Like, this is not a crazy opinion to hold, especially when compared to, like, the rest of the shit that we've discussed on this episode. I personally know people who hold this opinion. Like,
Yeah.
this is not crazy by any means. One thing that throws a little bit of a wrench into this is that Mack Hollins actually has a penchant for anime, which he absolutely adores. This is a quote of Mack Hollins when he was asked about his love of anime.
One Piece is the greatest work in human history. Actors always screw something up, but with anime, it can always be perfect.
Yeah, like, I have no issue with people who watch a lot of TV, nor people who like anime. Like, I think One Piece is a pretty good show too, and I have a lot of friends who would agree with this statement that is the greatest work in human history. That being said, I just think it was worth pointing out because it's a little bit, you know, contradictory that watching TV is something that he thinks makes you soft, but also that he thinks One Piece is so amazing. A show that has over 1,000 episodes and is still coming out.
Yeah, exactly. The only reason he believes that is because he's still on one show.
I guess you're right. Like, if...
And it's also watching too much TV. Like, if you watch, like, 1 or 2 episodes, maybe that's fine with Mack Hollins. But if you're, like, binge watching, he's like, no.
But, like, how could you possibly catch up with a... like 1,300 episode show.
That's exactly it. That's why he's
Mack Hollins.
Yeah.
You're right. So this brings us to the end of our exploration into the beliefs of Mack Hollins. The conclusion I've come to on this topic is very similar to the conclusion I came to about Jim Harbaugh and his beliefs. I think the vast majority of his beliefs are completely harmless and bring him genuine joy. Because of this, I salute Hollins and hope he continues living his unique lifestyle, because clearly it works for him. While a couple of his beliefs do connect to some conspiracies, namely his practice of not wearing shoes, I do not think they are particularly harmful conspiracies, especially compared to the gambit of other crazy beliefs we've seen other NFL players and coaches express. In summation, Mack Hollins seems like an awesome guy who's clearly loved by his teammates. I look forward to keeping up with his Instagram reels and whatever crazy belief of his comes out next.
Yeah, me too. Dude's a wild guy. I actually have something. It's just like a final thing. It's not anything like crazy, like wacky beliefs or anything. But the other day, Mack Hollins hit 700 straight days on Duolingo Spanish.
Good for him.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, yeah, that's all I got.
Do you think he's fluent by now?
No, it's Duolingo.
Yeah, I'll give you that. My 60-day streak on French definitely expired a few months back. And Duo is quite sad according to the email prompts I get from them to go back on. So I'm glad that his Duo is a happy, smiling owl.
Yeah, it's also orange for those who were curious, the color of the 700-day streak.
I think it's the same color as the 100-day streak, but this like could not matter less to our audience.
Alrighty, so today for this end segment, I gotta bring this up because for some reason this topic came up multiple times for 2 totally different reasons, and it was enough to provoke an investigation into a full end segment. So today we're talking helicopters.
Like the vehicle,
Like-
helicopters,
like-
propellers, the ones that fly in the sky.
Yeah.
Just to be clear,
Yes,
they don't
yes.
play football. You know that, right?
No, they don't. You're right. But for the Utah State High School Football Championship, they say, fuck you to the coin toss, and they bring a helicopter out. over the fucking field, and they have a player from each team come up and try and get the ball that they drop from this helicopter.
Okay.
Insane.
Two things about this. One, the money that's wasted on that is absurd, considering you could get, like, a drone these days. Like, helicopters are not the only thing that can do that job anymore.
Yeah, but come on.
No, I agree. It's way more badass with a helicopter. I love that they do it. I hope they keep their tradition going. The other thing, though, is that's actually, like, kind of really smart. Like, they're making it a skill-based way in order to choose whether you receive or kick. Like, I kind of vibe with that. Like, it makes it better than just, like, the total luck of a coin flip, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, it's the luck of the bounce and trying to fight someone else for
Exactly,
the ball.
but there's, like, a little bit of skill. Of course, there's the
Yeah.
luck of the bounce. Like, you can't totally get away the luck from this situation. But I kind of like that a bit more. That's not just completely based off of luck. It's a little bit merit, and it's way more entertaining than watching some guy flip a coin.
Yeah, way better than a coin flip. Yeah, exactly. But crazy, nonetheless.
No, nonetheless crazy.
Yeah, and so the second thing that came up was, did you know Rob Gronkowski jumped out of a helicopter into the ocean on live TV?
How did I miss this?
I don't know.
How did I miss this live television event when I got to see that stupid-ass kick of destiny twice?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Fuck, man.
You think he's nervous right now? Oh, yeah. Any way to hit back out? I don't think he'd ever back out. All right, he's about to jump now. The first one will be the Navy diver who will go in first. The second person you see is Gronk. Here we go. That's about 20. All right, Gronk, you got it. And there's Gronk.
Yeah, so
What?
Gronk jumped out of a helicopter.
Okay, it was on a program, like a television program called Gronk Jumps. Did I get that right?
That's just what they had in the corner. It was on Fox Sports.
I'm so
NFL.
confused. Like, for those who didn't see the video, I actually, for once, recommend that you don't waste your 30 seconds watching it, because Gronk jumped, what, 10 feet?
Yeah, no, he still jumped out of a helicopter.
Like, that's equally as disappointing as Michael Phelps not racing a shark.
Yeah. Jared will never let anyone forget about how Michael Phelps did not race a shark.
Well, they told me Michael Phelps was going to race a shark, and Discovery Channel's never let me down throughout my childhood. Now I can't trust them.
Yeah, that never in your childhood. So after I saw these two things, I was like, what else has NFL fucked up or done anything with helicopters? And in October, at the beginning of October of this year.
Okay.
So another fairly recent helicopter incident. Cowboys owner Jerry Jones lands helicopter on side turf field in the middle of Dallas Cowboys practice.
Okay, now that's, like, pretty crazy, and fuck Jerry Jones. But at least it wasn't during a game, because I could see him having the audacity to do some shit like that.
Well, in 2016, there was an article, a close look at Jerry Jones' obnoxious $8 million commute. So, proving once again why Jerry Jones does not need a helicopter in which he calls Jer Force One.
Oh, I hate that so much. And I hate that would work for both of our names, too.
He did the exact same thing in 2016, where he landed his brand new helicopter on the side of the field during a practice.
What a fucking dick.
Yeah, honestly.
Honestly, like, the depths of this guy will always astound me. Just every story I hear about him makes me just want to punch him in the face a little bit more.
Yeah, no, Jerry Jones is just the absolute worst. And then finally, we'll end off on a flyover, because who doesn't love a good flyover before a football game? There was a flyover on Nashville's Nissan Stadium before a Titans vs. Saints game. Except the U.S. military and the Federal Aviation Administration, the FAA, are reviewing the flyover after the helicopter flew too low over civilians, violating a number of aviation regulations.
Flyover laws.
Yeah, basically. Apparently, they were, like, almost in tow with the top level of things.
That's actually really scary.
Yeah. Like way too low.
I can't believe there's so many helicopter incidents in the NFL.
Yeah, no, and these are all within the past 8 years.
Yeah, exactly. The Jerry Jones first one would be the first one we ran into.
Yeah, the investigation for this flyover was in 2021.
This is crazy.
So, yeah, helicopters in the NFL. I didn't know, but apparently it's a thing.
Hear me out. I have a sweeping suggestion. Keep all NFL players, coaches, everyone involved in the NFL completely away from helicopters and solely reserve them for an alternative to a coin drop at college football games.
You didn't realize how high up the helicopter would have to be?
I don't care how high up it has to be. Did you see how low the helicopter was and Gronk jumped out of it? Get that shit out of my face. Thank you for listening to this week's episode.
You can find us on Twitter at FB Conspiracies, where we will post all the graphics and links we spoke about during this episode.
You can also reach us by email using fbconspiracies@gmail.com.
A special thanks to Blaze for the music.
If you enjoyed, consider leaving a review.
Join us next week for more football conspiracies. TLC stands for the Lion Club.